crazy statement. If he couldn't go left, they couldn't stop him from going right. I would go right if I'm arguably the best player of all time.
I honestly think we'll see this season that 99.
I don't think it's necessarily dead.
No, I think it's dead. That 99% rate Jason Kelce always talks about, that's going to go down to 92, 88.
I like the Steeler move of getting Russell Wilson, but for $1.2 million, bro, yeah. Justin Fields is making $2.7 million next year. So, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the ChopBlock. And I am the host with my co-host, G. Hutton. And also, I want to give a personal shout out to the man who you're going to see behind the scenes. Well, you're not going to see him. Shout out my big dog, Jacob, who's going to be running all the videos in behind the scenes. Shout out to my dog. But G. Hutton, how you feeling today, bro?
Feeling great. Another day of the ChopBlock, so I cannot complain. We get to sit here, talk sports for fun. And like you said, a great addition to the team, Jacob, behind the scenes producer. If you see camera switches, you see a little bit more graphics, you see a little bit more video. That's why we have that behind the scenes. But there's a big reason we had to hop on so quick back to back from episode 1 to 2 on the ChopBlock, Snoody, and that's free agency. Have we ever seen a free agency like this? I don't think we ever have. Do you know any?
I mean, not in recent memory. It's been a lot of monumental moves that was made in this offseason, from the AFC North to the NFC South, even the NFC West.
But it feels like a Madden franchise. You're just getting all the notifications. If you play Madden I know you played some online franchise, so I thought that was funny. That was hella funny. So that was a really good comparison to this. I mean, I've never seen this many people just go to random teams, in division teams, so rivals, people that we would never think on these teams, like Saquon. And that's what I wanted to get into first, is the running backs. What's the biggest running back move that shocked you so far?
Derrick Henry to the Ravens, easily. I mean, with the tandem that I'm kind of seeing that this could potentially be, this could be like a Kobe and Shaq type of thing. I mean, Derrick Henry ran for 2,000 yards in high school, college, and in the NFL. And Lamar Jackson is a premier rusher in his own. They had the number 1 offensive rushing team last year. So I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to work out there. You remember the last playoff game the Ravens had? They only rushed the ball 6 times. I'm quite sure it's going to be more than 6 times this time. But another good move that I did like that's not being talked about as much is Swift to the Bears. Now, I don't know exactly what's going to happen with Justin Fields. I mean, in my opinion, I think they should keep him at this point, because if you trade him, he's going to go be a backup somewhere else, and I know he's not going to want to do that. So I like Swift. I like the Saquon move, but I'm loving the Derrick Henry to the Ravens, man. That was a big move, man.
2 big moves, and it's crazy that we have 8 to 10 to pick from in this free agency. And last free agency, everybody was getting tagged later on. Nobody was getting big deals other than Miles Sanders. But
right.
So my biggest shock has to be Josh Jacobs. He went to the Green Bay Packers, and I don't even think absolutely not one soul saw Josh Jacobs going to the Green Bay Packers. Getting rid of Aaron Jones, cutting that man, and paying Josh Jacobs. Some of the Green Bay Packers fans I know felt stabbed in the back, and it was funny to see it for me. But seeing Josh Jacobs get $46 million for 4 years, I believe it was, and he got that big of money in this market and landscape of where running backs don't even really get paid. It was huge, and it might even transcend the position. That's why I thought it was the biggest shock so far. Were you surprised?
I honestly think that Christian McCaffrey, just to that he went to the Packers, yes, but the money that he got, no, because he actually deserves the money. I know Christian McCaffrey got the highest paid at the point. I just don't see another running back just getting a massive contract, just of how the NFL and the owners kind of view running backs. So, I mean, Saquon Barkley, a 3-year, $37 million contract, but it's 12 a year. I mean, yeah, 12 a year. That's probably the average for, a borderline Pro Bowl running back at this point. I just don't think that you're going to see those wide receiver money contracts, the defensive end contracts, the quarterback contracts for running backs. I just don't see it going like that. Not no time soon.
Yeah, while we're still on the running back topic, you brought up Saquon. That would probably be my most impactful signing. I think Saquon, he's never really had an even top 20 O-line on the Giants. I mean, just had Evan Neal for one season and Andrew Nichols, something like that. I forget. Andrew Thomas, who played tackle, who was good, but he's never really had an elite offensive line, and he goes to the Eagles, which I believe are the number one, even without Jason Kelce. So he's going to get that
Couple
huge.
thoughts.
Talk to me.
My bad. For one, I wish Kelce would have played just one more year with Saquon Barkley. I don't know. Maybe Saquon could make a phone call or something. And for two, I want your opinion on this. Tush push. Okay. Saquon, I mean, you're on the 1 yard line. Tush push or Saquon Barkley halfback dive?
See, the way I'm looking at it now is you just go straight to the running back. No Jason Kelce. You don't have that insurance on that tush push. Like you said, exactly. Without Jason Kelce, there is no tush push because Jalen Hurts is not feeling instant protection every single time when they do that QB sneak. So they're going to have to hand that thing off to Saquon and just hope he gets in there. The tush push is dead. I honestly think we'll see this season. That 99.
I don't think it's necessarily dead.
Nah, I think it's dead. That 99% rate Jason Kelce always talks about, that's going to go down to 92, 88, 80, you know.
Okay. I'm with you with 92. I'm with you with like 92.
Looks like you cut out a bit there, but I think if we're looking at, you cut out a little bit there, by the way, Snoody, but 92 at least to me, like 92 at least probably with the QB sneak, but. Yeah, I'd hit the halfback dive. And the team that the halfback dive is going to look absolutely insane is Derrick Henry, who you talked about. Patrick Ricard, 300-pound fullback, one of the best in the game. With Derrick Henry, with Tyler Lindenbaum, their center. Oh, that's going to be filthy.
Over under 1,300 yards for Derrick Henry.
Under. Just because I think they're going to spread the love more than you think. I think Keaton Mitchell's still going to get the rock a pretty good amount. He's their like special gadget guy. He'll probably get like 10 carries a game and randomly get 150 yards out of nowhere. So I think he won't have. I think he'll get around that 1,000 to 1,100 mark, basically. But getting into I want to talk about something a little close to home. Getting off of the running backs. Your team got a new QB. My team did too, but yours is the bigger news to me. Kirk Cousins, 180? 180? Y'all paying that man 180, Snoody?
Hoping my expectations, as you know, I am a Falcon fan. Finally, I can speak my opinion. I'm not at work right now. So my expectations for the team is NFC Championship berth. I mean, you pay a QB $180 million. I'm going to expect you to win. You be the reason you win me the games. So that's what I'm looking forward to with Kirk Cousins to, be a leader. I mean, he got Kyle Pitts' number. Only thing Kyle Pitts asked for was throw me the damn ball. So I mean, I think that's a fair deal. I mean, he got number 8. So long as we're going in the upper echelon, then I can actually be more satisfied with the move. Because right now I'm at like a 4 or a 5 right now with the Kirk Cousins to Atlanta.
Yeah, I think if you guys get some playoff wins, you might feel a little bit differently, even if you don't win a Super Bowl. But either way, these free agents. Speaking of success, these free agency moves. If our producer in Studio J, real quick, can pull up the draft order, we're gonna go over just real quick which of these moves affected which teams most with the draft order. So, like you said, if you think Kirk Cousins is over here. His move affected to where you guys are going pass rusher for sure, you could let me know. Which team got affected most by these free agency moves for the draft?
Steelers.
Just because of Russ, or
I love the signing for the value that you're gonna get with Russ. I mean, we both had the same type of issues with QB. That's the most important position in football. I think Russ got the short end of the stick a little bit last year with Denver. I don't think Sean Payton was high on him. I don't think Russ helped himself out by having an office in the front, trying to having an office in the building when he had Nathaniel Hackett in there. And he just got a bad rap. $1.2 million for the Steelers. You don't have to draft the quarterback. You can focus on getting the need like going to. I mean, I'm gonna allude later on who I think we should draft, but I like the Steeler move of getting Russell Wilson. But for $1.2 million, bro,
Yeah.
Justin Fields is making $2.7 million next year. So just keep that in mind. Like Justin Fields is on technically making more money, but we know Russ is getting $37 million from the Broncos next year.
Yeah, I mean, once they solidified Russ, you knew they weren't taking a QB in the draft for sure. And then also, honestly, getting him makes it to where I think we're just going to address either O-line or cornerback no matter what. I mean, we made a few moves leaving Deontay Johnson, so we might need to pick up a wide receiver. But the Steelers always draft second-round demons at wide receiver. We saw George Pickens, Deontay, Claypool. We don't stop. Like Mike Wallace, you can name him on and on and on. And Martavius Bryant, oh my gosh.
You traded
man,
Chase.
I'm on a roll. Huh? Yeah, we got traded Chase.
You traded Chase, by the way.
Traded him for a second, right back. You got his talent worth, and then traded him for more than he's worth. You know, that's just how good we are.
In your opinion, what do you think is the biggest? What do you think is the biggest need for your Steelers right now? You don't have to give me a specific player, but what position would you want the Steelers to draft first round?
Even though it's not pretty, center. Like I'm leaning towards center. Just get the best center in the draft. We just cut Mason Cole. I think that's a big need on our O-line. Center or offensive tackle. I think if we address that, our O-line is actually going to be one of the best in the league instead of one of the worst for the first time. But I want to get into if we still have the draft board up, I just want to go real quick into the team that I think gets affected the most. And that's the team that's picking number 3 on the board, and that's the New England Patriots. The Patriots sent Mac Jones to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mac Jones is a backup. That's all he is now. Bailey Zappi technically is the starter right now. But if anything, I think this affected the draft board more than anything because if you look at that trade, it almost guarantees the Patriots are going to need a quarterback at 3. Because at first everybody's like, oh, maybe Marvin goes to the Patriots. They have a bunch of needs. They might address QB later on. But this solidifies – they're going for Jaden Daniels. They're going for Drake May. Whoever's at that 3 spot left over, they're getting. Who do you think the Patriots want? Who do you think the Patriots want a QB? If they had to choose, outside of Caleb,
I think they probably would want Drake May. I think Drake May would be their best case scenario. I just don't see them going to get Justin Fields, Caleb going first, unless they trade up to go get one. And I think Drake will fall to them perfectly at 3. And I think that'd be a good, match for New England. I don't think New England ever had other than Cam Newton, the only black QB I remember for the Patriots. So I think Drake May would probably be like their match. I think that'll work out for New England.
Yeah, I think that would be a good fit for sure. There's a couple other teams that got affected by free agency, like definitely all these running backs going places make you think that a few of these rookie running backs we won't see drafted very high. But, I mean, we still see some teams.
Commanders traded away Sam Howell.
They did trade away Sam Howell today. That was interesting. The Seahawks ended up getting him. You think Seahawks, speaking of that, Seahawks definitely not drafting a QB to me now. You think Sam Howell has a chance to beat Geno Smith out?
It's a chance, but I don't think he necessarily will. But it's good insurance to have Sam Howell, who was a starter, does have a decent arm and can get it to his weapons. But Geno is the $100 million man, and it's kind of tough to put a man who has $100 million to sit down.
That was a good point, though. Honestly, that might be one of the bigger trades that guarantees, because I don't think you give up a 3rd rounder and a 5th They gave back a fourth, but I don't think you give up that much capital unless you're saying, hey, we're not drafting a QB now. We have our backup. We have our starter. We'll get one another year. So that's a pretty big move.
True.
But if you're down for it, Snoody, you down to switch sports?
Let's do it.
Okay, so first, we're going to give a little preface while our producer gets ready to pull up the clip. But so everybody on Twitter has been arguing, Snoody. They've been saying Michael Jordan has no left hand. And I've never even heard this statement at all. But they're bringing up old clips. They're bringing up old stuff like constantly about how Michael couldn't go left. And we have a clip. All these old
He didn't have great handles. Couldn't go left, right? And if he went left more than 2-3 times, he had to pick it up.
I used to say, it's like, oh, you think you guard me? It's like, yeah, because your handle's whack. I used to say, your handle's whack. I can guard you. And like, bum, bum, bum.
The rules are very simple. Left side of the floor, send him left. Right side of the floor, send him left. In the middle, send him left.
He didn't have a handle. He couldn't handle the rock like in college.
MJ?
No, he couldn't handle the rock. So like, even at times I'll be like, we play pickup, like, oh, I got Mike. You're like, because I know I'm get up on you. Like, you can't handle the rock. And
what happened? And then?
And then he's the only guy that I know that his weaknesses that he had at the end of his career was his strengths.
Baskets in the last 14 minutes.
prominent point guard saying that MJ could not even go left. He's saying if he's going right, make him go left. If he's going left, make him stay left. He basically just saying that they can't go left, and MJ even couldn't really dribble the ball. You're a little bit older than me. You saw a little bit of MJ in his career. Tell me what you think about that type of crazy statement.
Just like you said, crazy statement. If he couldn't go left, they couldn't stop him from going right. I would go right if you couldn't. If I'm arguably the best player of all time, who cares if I can't go left? It's just a bunch of people who just want to dig up facts and stuff like that. They just kind of want to shun Michael Jordan's career. We know he's a dominant player in his own right. Scored 63 coming off injury that season when he played Larry Bird when they was in their prime. Come on, bro, stop playing with MJ, man. 6 titles, 6 final MVPs. I don't care if he couldn't go left. You could have cut his left arm off, and it still seemed like he could have got 40 in the game. So it's just interesting to see how people like to pull up facts to prove their points. Isaiah Thomas is not a fan of Michael Jordan, bro. Like, let's just keep it real, man. Like, they're not fans of each other. So I would assume Isaiah Thomas would have a point like this. But I did see some videos of, like, him having issues with the left, but I've seen a lot more videos of him going to the right and giving them buckets, bro. So I don't care if he couldn't go left, man. MJ's still that guy, man. Stop playing.
Oh, yeah. But I will say I'm 100% with you. I 100% think this is a stupid argument because MJ's the GOAT. But I will say sometimes, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. Sometimes do you see some stuff people bring up and you're like, hell no, there's no chance this is right. That's bullshit. And then you go into it and then you go into it and you're like, dang, like these old heads are saying it too. And they bring out footage and it's like, man, I'm not really seeing him go left for real ever at all. Like sometimes I see these things and there's sports debates and I'm like, man. But I also like to believe if he can't go left, who the hell can, bruh? Like if he can't go left, who the hell can? And if he didn't have to go left his whole career being the best of all time, how damn bad is everybody else? So who gives a damn? Like,
Exactly.
Come on, bro.
That's
Like,
the main point that I had. That's exactly the main point that I have. It makes everybody else in that era look worse that you couldn't stop him when he only went right.
And I don't think they were trash. I don't think
I
was trash.
don't
So,
understand.
yeah,
Isaiah Thomas definitely wasn't. Like, Isaiah Thomas wasn't trash. Kenny Smith wasn't trash at all. Like, I would never disrespect the game that they played, but who cares? Kenny Smith isn't Isaiah Thomas. Like, let's keep it real, but who cares if my guy couldn't go left, bro? I've seen so many highlights of him doing acrobatic layups, or when he beat the Blazers in the finals and he was hitting all the trades, or that
That's what I'm
reverse
saying.
layup that just goes to memory when I think of Michael Jordan, man. Like, he had a dominant career, and like, I'm just proud to say that, like, I seen at least a little bit of it. Like, I was born in '89, so like, let's keep in mind I was like 6, 7 when like he's at the apex of his career with no championships. But I do remember like when he beat the Super Sonics in the finals, bro. Like, he's giving them the business. He beat Utah Jazz in '98, giving them the business. And you know what he did? He went right when he hit that clutch shot and won the game in the finals. So if I was MJ, if I had to only go right, take my left hand and put it behind my back, and I'm gonna keep going, bro.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, you see so many clips of him doing reverse layups, everything. Like, I think it's just straight BS. But that's all we have, Snoody. That's episode 2.
That's it.
We're good to go. That's episode 2. We hit the topic bar.
We sure did, man. I was trying to think, was there something else that I kind of wanted to bring up on a humble subject, but we can just wait for episode 3 to bring that on, man.
Yeah, we got that for episode 3. Trust me, we're not trying to make these too long, so that way we can have plenty to talk about each episode. But everybody, show love to episode 2. We were about to post episode 1, and we sure you showed a bunch of love to that. But I'm Gabe Hutton. That's Rodney Snoody Washington. We'll catch you on episode 3 of the ChopBlock.
Peace.
Hey.